today, for the moms, I'm making my beautiful bacon, onion, and cheese tart.
You said it.
Very simple. It's so delicious. So what we're gonna do very simply, I have started over here, if you can take a look at this, is onions that are finely sliced. I put them with bacon. I put them in together. Normally you wouldn't do this. All I want to do is render it lightly. I'm just getting to soften the bacon up with the onions, and I didn't add any salt because the bacon's very salty. I'm going to add some pepper. The thing here is I'm just getting it started because it's going to cook again in the oven. This is usually you fry the bacon, get it crisp, take it out, and then fry in that fat. We don't want that. Now, if it gets a little hot, a secret I have, I know, Alex, you do this all the time in the kitchen as well, a little water. Water stops everything, and it produces steam. It lets it stop the caramelization, and if you want to restart it, put it back on the fire, and if it gets too brown again, put some water in. So this is just about done. I'm gonna turn it off and let it just hang out in the pan. Very simple.
That's actually kind of radical, though, to not
it is. It's like
cook bacon crispy.
Yeah, it's a bread. I like to actually cook bacon with water in a pan, which is a weird way to do it, but it works.
Very good method.
Here I have farmer's cheese. It's unaged, right? It's just fresh cheese. So very inexpensive. You can find it anywhere. This is actually from the farmer's market. A little creme fraiche or double cream or whatever.
Cream.
Yeah.
GC, if you didn't have access to farmer's cheese, could you use like a cream cheese?
I wouldn't use a cream cheese. I'd use something that's a little not as sharp. Okay, so I'm putting that in here. The creme fraiche, 1 egg yolk, a little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
That's a good-looking egg yolk.
How about just like the cheap date?
No problem.
Could I mix cream cheese and sour cream?
You sure could. You could do sour cream. You could, absolutely.
Cheese.
What you're trying to do is get this consistency. You do need the yolk. The yolk provides a little, you know, it grabs the pastry, right? It has to, and it doesn't. If other than that, it's too wet. Okay.
Yeah.
It also adds such a nice richness to it and good color.
So let's get to the pastry. Really important, the pastry. This is store-bought puff pastry.
GC, don't you think that puff pastry is one of the things that store-bought is just as good, if not better, than homemade?
I got a whole list of things that are store-bought that are fine.
To me, it's like brownie mix and puff pastry, always store-bought.
There's nothing wrong with going to the store and buying stuff. You see how thin that is? Can you get in there and see how thin that is? So I've really rolled it up very thin.
All right, so you took the store-bought out and you just ran a pin over it.
So much so that one layer, there's another one of these in there. So you could actually make two with this mixture. So it's inexpensive and efficient and delicious. So our oven is on 425. We're gonna get some fresh thyme here. Did you grow this, Jeff, for me?
Yeah, I did in my vertical garden right there. That's upcycled. 28-ounce cans of San Marzano tomatoes.
We're gonna put some fresh thyme in here, just a little bit. If you drop the herb in, the stem, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I love that you didn't cook it in yet.
No, you don't wanna cook this in yet, no.
Bacon and thyme and onions.
Okay. So we're just gonna assemble. This couldn't be easier. Before we do that, let me get, I'm gonna dock it, which is, usually they have a docker, which is a rolling pin with little spikes on it, but you just use a fork. And the reason why you do this is to sort of decrease the rise of this without going to the edge, because the edge is gonna form a little rise, so it's gonna look higher in the edge and lower in the center, so don't—
Pizza crust.
Yeah, you get
We're going
like
for
that. But this is puff pastry and it has a lot of layers of butter, so this really flies up.
Poofs. It's a poof pastry.
So we have it on a parchment paper, easy cleanup. We're gonna take our egg creme fraiche, delicious mixture here and just spread it. Not a lot.
I love a fancy recipe like this that's actually minimal effort.
It's not much at all.
People are very impressed with this. I make this all the time.
There's so much flavor going on in there.
Okay, so now we're just gonna take our onion, thyme, bacon mixture. It's like, this is sweated. It's not crisped up, really important. And we're gonna be generous with this because this is really where all the incredible flavor comes from, is that bacon. And the bacon has gone into the onion, which is even better. Oh, this is gonna get bubbly. The onion is gonna continue to cook. The bacon's gonna go to the next level. It's still not gonna get really crispy. That's not what we want. But what's really gonna make this thing is the combination together with that puff pastry and some chives on top is like to die for. Okay, in the oven, 425, 25 minutes.
Till it's poofy.
Till it's cooked.
I like the border. You gotta leave that border around there too so you have something to grab onto.
Well, you're gonna see the border in a second.
Can you do a stuffed crust like with like mozzarella sticks?
Man, this looks good.
You see that? So that's just like, see, that's because you've left that, and I always like to garnish this with,
Don't burn yourself, buddy.
with a little fresh chives. Cut your chives if you can at the last minute.
Why is that?
You'll use less.
Yeah.
Because you have these chives, then what do you do with them? And you throw them in like anything, and it doesn't make any sense. Cut them like this, wrap them back up in a wet paper towel.
Smart.
Okay.
Smart, smart.
Are we ready to
so
taste?
Pretty.
Oh,
And
I know
just
you're
so,
not done garnishing.
No, I'm not. For Alex, I had to put something extra. So I'm gonna put a little pecorino romano.
This is a Geoffrey Zakarian
But I love
dish.
pecorino
It has
romano.
pecorino romano.
Yep, and chives.
I think of you every time I get out pecorino romano now.
I'm happy that that's what you think of. Okay, little pizza peel. These are fantastic. They're easy.
Pizza cutter.
They're just easier. Pizza cutter, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You got it, bro.
You put that out on the board like that, warm,
man.
with a bottle of champagne, and you will devour this, literally.
Ooh, that looks
wow.
good. That crust.
You know I'm dying.
You're right, champagne would be so perfect with that.
Just the cheese, the onion, the bacon is just cooked enough, still pliable, and just the development of that puff pastry is so timely, but it adds so much. All those layers of butter, it's flaky, it's crispy, it's just buttery enough, and it's thin. You don't want a thick piece of this. This is really just perfect.